Morning all, how are we doing? My mic working? Yeah, it's good. How's everybody? Morning Kennelly, morning Burke, Stevie, Harold, Steve, Virginia, Michael, how are we doing? Just checking the DAX, there's a gap up again today, which it looks like it's starting to fill. So there is an opportunity for a gap fill there. We had one on the DAX yesterday as well. So right now, as you can see, we've got yesterday's gap and now today's gap. We've broken out of those highs. So looks like the market is trying to rally. However, if we have another update today, probably a good chance for some shorts tomorrow. So we'll watch this today. We might get the gap fill done today, but we'll see what happens. So just wanted to bring that to your attention because there's a nice quick scalp short available there. Morning, Brian. Morning, Sean. Morning, Les. Morning, Michael. Right, quickly go over the news. It's 52, we've got 8 minutes to go. So today's the first day of news. The claimant counts came out this morning for the pound, which were negative numbers, which is obviously positive. So there's less people claiming. So looking at the pound pairs, there's no ADRs so far today, but obviously the pound's had a very nice reaction to that. So all the pound pairs rallying at the moment. Not huge. Swiss franc's powering up a lot by the looks of things. So bit of a push on the pound pairs, which is good. So most of the positions probably were longs anyway on the pound if you were on them. The only thing I'm on is pound odd. So yeah, good moves on that. We've got the CPI for the US dollar this afternoon. So that's the big one. So this is our first big news event of the week. That comes out at 1:30. So the CPI figures basically are all forecast to be dropping. So inflation coming down, which is good. Takes the pressure off the interest rates. Inflation coming down usually is negative for the currency. So we should, if we get these figures, hopefully see a drop in the US dollar today at some point. Then 3 o'clock this afternoon, we've got Bailey speaking. So Bailey will go over the impact that this is having on the currency and potentially give us some forward guidance as to what's going to be happening with GDP and potentially interest rates moving forward. So all afternoon, we've got potentially market moving events pre-New York Open and post-New York Open. Obviously, this isn't going to affect the US indices particularly, but if he does drop some kind of bombshell to do with interest rates, obviously that will move everything. So there you go. So that's the news for today. And then 7 o'clock, we've got GDP tomorrow morning before the market opens as well. So just keep your eyes on that one. Overnight news, Bank of England hike bets. Bank of England hike bets surge. Peak rate jumps 12% to 5.7 by February. Right, so they're just saying that interest rates are going up. We know that. As unemployment's coming down, basically that helps them to put interest rates up if they need to. Other news, we had 2% actual inflation would make price expectation 2%. 2% actual inflation would make price expectation 2%. So that came out of Japan. Don't know what that means, a bit cryptic. Bank of Canada, that's nothing. That's it. So that's the overnight news. There we go. Just to quickly recap, yesterday afternoon, we were trading the US indices yesterday. I had a leftover trade yesterday on the Dow from here. So I accidentally put the time wrong on the stop trading time. So I changed it and I forgot that actually works on initialization. So it didn't reset that. So basically what happened yesterday was we took 2 entries on the Dow late. One of them hit TP and the other one got held. Basically banked a load of money on the Dow this morning, $1,300 by accident. Yesterday though, which was the 12th, managed to pull it back. to a profit. So if you remember in the live room yesterday afternoon, we had that hideous whipsaw on all instruments. So like the NASDAQ, we just had that hideous whipsaw for the first sort of hour or so. And then the market finally took off. So we started banking some profit. So as you can see, there was quite a few trades taken on inside bars for the loss recovery. We went from minus about, I think the last time I saw it was $4,300, pulled it back into a positive. So that loss recovery worked beautifully yesterday. So it's good. So it's nice to see it working and panning out. So DAX today, obviously we know about the gap fill to the downside. Other news, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, did some scale outs on that this morning as it pushed back above yesterday's high. So this high was what we were looking to hold yesterday. It did. So remember I said yesterday, if they break above there and they pull it straight back down again, there's a chance that that will be the last move before we start that correction. This morning, however, they rallied, took out yesterday's high and are now collapsing fast. So this big hourly candle we've got going in at the moment, we get another one here, I suspect that might have been the last move. So instead of making it yesterday, they may have made it today. So there will be your M pattern reversal. When we get that reversal alert, and hopefully then we'll start that downward movement on the Aussie New Zealand. We'll see. So it is still holding, but another quick shoot out the highs, which obviously cost a little bit this morning. We got 2 minutes to the open. Morning, John. Morning, Outro. Morning, Amy. So look at the DAX, obviously today. That's the Dow. Gap fill to do, as we just looked at. Second gap to do from yesterday, which is 150 ADR. Doubt very much we'll get all the way back down to there today, but we might do. So it would need a pretty strong push to get 150 ADR. Indices struggle to get beyond ADR unless there's something really big news-wise. And obviously inflation today could be it. So we might get that move, but we'll see. So downside targets, definitely. As you can see, that one there, as an example, we had day up, day down, 2 days sideways, then filled it. Yeah, so most gaps get filled within a week, mostly. Roughly 75%-ish get filled within a week. So there's a good chance if we do get a bull day today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be bear. So we'll see what happens. Led by the market. So watch the opening range break happen on the DAX. So bear in mind already today up $1,300 on that Dow that got held overnight. Unfortunately, I had to pay $117 swap on it. Yeah. Good reason why you don't hold overnight on indices, because there is very high swaps on indices. So used for scalping rather than position trading. If you try and position trade the indices, you'll end up with a big old swap. Not really worth doing. So we got 5 seconds. So that's the 5 minute pre. We might struggle to get the short on today. There we go. It's gone in as sell limits. Has triggered. So we did get a trigger because it popped back up again. But this is the problem with this strategy. If price is very close to the low of the 5 minute candle or high, obviously, when that open happens, it's quite often we will jump beyond the price. So you don't get the order on. Happened yesterday with the NASDAQ as well. But this one's triggered. So looks like it might stop out and flip long. So if we get... No, sorry, I thought that was frozen up then. If we do get a double-ended stop out today, that's going to be minus $1,000. The fact that we're already up means it won't take any inside bar breaks on the Dow, on the DAX. And obviously we just come back and watch the session this afternoon. But hopefully we just break out long and hit TP. Okay, so stopped out on the shorts, flip long. So I would watch these highs for potential rejection if we get there this morning. Morning, Gavin. Okay, TP hit on the DAX. So TP hit. I've adjusted the trailer on this to 300% of the opening range as well. So I'm testing today without trailers just to see if that helps. I kind of like the idea of going to break even though, but I'm going to leave it. So outro, feeling a whipsaw today. I would say the same. However, this high is where we will see the whipsaw if we are going to get one. But if not, looking at the DAX upside potential, we've got the previous month's high, which is 3 week. So this is your 3 week high and previous month's high. So that basically is ADR today, that monthly high. So if we are going to push long today, ADR is where we're going to find the next resistance to come back from. So there's clear air above today. But we are rejecting those highs at the minute. I'd much prefer a short on it, to be honest, today. But in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to manually move that to a break even because I don't think that's going to go. I'd rather just get stopped out and take that grand than anything else. There you go. So obviously you won't have the same result as me. So you will have, I don't know what you'll have, but if you're taking it, you'll have whatever you've got. So if you want to take additional trades, obviously that's fine, but it won't take any additionals today because we're in profit so far for the morning. So there we go. So there's your ORB. So if we have a look at the other platform, I'll just open that up so I can remember that I've got a back test running. 34 hours in, 25 hours to go. God, the US indices take such a long time to backtest. So we got 4 seconds left. There's your 5-minute ORB. So there's your range to break today. Doesn't seem to be an awful lot of volume in the market at the moment. So just be a bit careful today. I'd much more favor shorts than longs, obviously, just because of the gaps. So the fact that we've just hit limits at the high and rejected that area, obviously it does look bearish at the moment. So, but go with where the market goes. If it goes long, ADR is your target. If it goes short, gap fill 1 and 2 would be your downside targets. Right. Gulam, for prop firm, what EA do you recommend? I would use the ORB EA for prop. Morning, Olani. I'm useless with names. Yeah, so I'd recommend obviously the ORB EA. Prop, you want to ideally be scalping or swinging on something like the hourly charts. So I obviously my main strategy is position trading, so that doesn't suit prop. So I would go with ORB. Or use a stop loss based version of the market reversal alerts EA and just take trades at support resistance zones. The other way to do it. Right, so ADRs. We've got no ADRs today, as you can see, completely flat. We've got no weeklies and we've got no monthlies. So nothing's moved far enough this week to trigger anything. Yesterday, we had a few ADRs. We had a lot of movement on the Swiss franc yesterday. As you can see, that's your Swiss franc movement, obviously. It is starting to pull back today. So we need to see if we're going to get a move down or whether this is just going to be a flag break and a continuation leg. So Swiss franc, obviously, if you were taking ADR reversals yesterday with the Swiss franc, you would have been in and out fairly quick on those. So depending on where you got in, wow, that was a big one yesterday, wasn't it? On the euro, 900. So that was nearly 200 ADR on euro Swiss yesterday. I didn't see it towards the end of the day, but so that's just started to pull back down into the highs there. Pound Swiss, nice extension. Well, this wasn't particularly, but from the previous day, that's starting to come down as well. So there's a good deal of Swiss franc sort of strength come through in Asia. We need to see if that continues, but nothing to look at today basically on those. So pretty much flat. RSIs, we haven't got a lot to look at either. There's going to be a fairly short one this morning because I've got other stuff I need to get on with, but I'm going to whiz through all of these and obviously we'll look at them. But if there's any other pairs you want to look at, let me know. Aussie CAD, that's extended on the 4-hour RSI. So big, strong push continuation on that. These Australian pairs, obviously, if we look quickly whiz through them all, they are all starting to show a little bit more weakness, not massively though. So I still think this Australian dollar has got some legs in it. What we need is these other currencies now to take control and start pushing, because obviously once you've put so much into the Aussie, eventually you run out of steam. If the other currency doesn't have any strength, what you tend to get is then an accumulation push, which is what we've seen on the Aussie New Zealand. Aussie's pushed. When it's had a rest, the New Zealand dollar hasn't had any strength. Aussie continues. So what we need is these other currencies to pick up a little bit when this Australian dollar weakens. So Aussie CAD 4-hour extension embedded up. Well, it's not embedded really, but it's second hit up there since we had that move. So you would have had a profit takeoff of that one, obviously, and been out. But very big extension. We are in a downtrend on this one, and looks like a good spot for an entry. Big move, couple of flags, and that's more of a profit take. So it is due a pullback, but whether or not it's going to continue, we'll find out this afternoon, really, with CPI. So with the Canadian dollar, that will move with the US dollar. So if we get negative news on the US, we'll probably have movement to the downside on the Canadian dollar, which means this could potentially rally higher. This is your monthly level, which is 125 ADR today. So that's where you're likely to see limit orders triggering. So if it does manage to rally up to there, you've got a short entry back up at the monthly high. So entry there. Just had the reverse alert on that one. Second entry would be 65 pips away, which is nearly an ADR. Aussie dollar Swiss, that's just starting to roll over. Had an entry on that one on H1 yesterday. So there's your H1 RSI extension. M5 reverse alert was in there. So in one, looking like we might get an hourly reverse alert as well. Target for me is just above that high, which is ADR today. That's extended on the 4-hour. As you can see, this is kind of a triple extension here. Huge divergence. So market absolutely flying. Aussie dollar strength, Swiss franc weakness, RSI holding steady. So you got RSI bear divergence. First entry on that one yesterday. So it's extended on the 4-hour again, but first entry on the hourly RSI yesterday. H1, M5 reverse alert, nice little M pattern reversal. Again, target there. That's exactly the same as the Aussie dollar CAD, isn't it? No, sorry, I was on the wrong pair. We've done Aussie Swiss. One of those mornings. Aussie dollar yen. So big push up on that one. 3 entries on. This thing's been pushing crazily. So the only overnight news we had from the Bank of Japan was a little bit cryptic. This 2% actual inflation would make price expectation 2%. Expectation 2%. I don't really understand what they mean by that, but so we have got weakness in the yen at the moment, which is continuing. All yen pairs getting a little bit pushed at the minute. US dollar yen is the real gauge at the moment for the yen. This is the one that the Japanese are concerned about because of the amount of trade done with the US. So they don't want this getting too high because it just has a massive negative impact on their economy. So this is where they tend to step in and do the interventions. At the moment, US dollar yen is kind of holding in a symmetrical triangle. We are contracting, and obviously we're waiting for the CPI figures. So today, this is either going to fly that way or that way based on CPI. So when you're looking at all the yen pairs, when money flows out of the US dollar, it quite often will flow into that yen. Therefore, you get that strength coming through on the yen, and everything comes down against the yen. So if we get negative CPI figures today, we will probably find that the yen has a little bit of strength coming through, which will obviously drive this one down. Like I said, when you get a currency that's been pushing really, really, really hard and sustained, and then it has a pause, if the other currency isn't rallying, you just get that accumulation. And then it's a case of who's going to move next. And this is what we've seen with this Australian dollar. We've seen rallies, accumulations, rallies, accumulations, rallies. We need some yen strength. So at the moment, that's not there. Lots of big propulsion targets to the downside. So we are going to get a pullback, and it will be pretty quick when it happens, but we're waiting. So Aussie yen, that's extended on the 4 hour. That was the hourly extension where I got in, which was a week and a bit ago. 4 hour RSI extension was pretty much the same place. So you're probably in exactly the same trade, really. So extended, embedded, waiting for a profit take. There hasn't been a profit take move at all yet. So we are what, 94. We're 436. So we're about 4.5 ADR with no profit take. A lot of these yens are the same. Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar is the same, isn't it? We're over 6 ADR now. No profit take move whatsoever. Look at it. It's just parabolic. Has not taken profit. When they start, it will come down hard. It's just we haven't had that convincing move yet. As soon as that convincing move starts, they'll jump on and we'll be off. But hopefully today, it's looking like it. The hourly RSI, the hourly ADR, RSI, ADR, market reversal alert is about to happen. We've got 45 minutes left on this candle. So if we get a bear candle here on the hourly, that gives us that reversal alert. There's your M pattern. Yeah, there's your smart money traders stop run. They all got in on the stop run because they're smart, put their stops up there and then got stopped out. Hang on a minute. I thought they were smart money traders. There you go. So they're all stopped out twice now. Euro Swiss. Hourly just coming down very, very nicely. 4 hour RSI extension to the upside. You missed the entry on this one. You needed to be getting into this one yesterday, really. Why are you not updating? There we go. So there was an alert there. You had one yesterday up here as well. Also had one there. Oh, there you go. So there's my first. That's, yeah, exactly where I got in. That was the first entry yesterday. So it's back in profit now. You had another entry opportunity up there as well. This was that obviously huge ADR push, Euro Swiss yesterday. That was the 200 ADR move. So that's coming down very, very nicely. Hopefully just come down and fill that propulsion gap. Target on this one, I would stick down in propulsion. So just somewhere before ADR basically today. Just try and get out of that one today if we can. Be nice if we get a big, strong push on this Swiss franc today. Just get these all done. So there's your RSIs. There's nothing on the hourlies at the moment because yesterday, basically, all we did was anything that hit ADR yesterday was kind of undoing the previous extensions or creating new extensions, which are obviously all, as you can see, played out. The 4 hours, it's really just a case of these Australian dollars still that are continuing to push. So fingers crossed we get that move starting on those today. John, where's the gap you see on the DAX, please? Just missed hearing the level. So gap on the DAX will be yesterday's high, basically, pretty much, which is 16,142. 16,133 is the actual close. The other gap, 1,600, yeah. So that's a big round number. That's the low of that's yesterday's low. So the gap is actually below that. The 1600. I mean, when you hit 1600, you're very likely going to get a bounce of some kind before it gets down and does the gap. It might fly through it, but it's a big round number as well. Big round numbers get bought, so you're likely to get a bounce off of that. If you think about it, it's an absolutely obvious spot. It's a previous resistance. Look, got high, high, high. Yeah, so we hit it, we bounced off of it. This is 1600. So this is basically limit triggers at 1600. So the banks and institutions have got limit orders triggering at 1600. 1600, 1600. Yeah, they're selling the crap out of it. We gap up above it. Instant stop out, rally. Yeah, so everybody all the institutions that sold the gap, sold the 1600 level, puked their orders on the other side, which made the market rally. Next time we hit that, they'll be buying it because that's where the buyers took control. So they will rebuy that gap. So we'll get a bounce off of it. Whether or not there's enough strength to rally back up again, we'll have to wait and see. It depends how much they want to get back down and sort this gap, isn't it, really? But it's a funny level, this, because it's a big round number where obviously a lot of institutions got caught out. So there's a lot of unfinished business in here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it slam straight through that level and just hit that, be done, get that unfinished business completed, which is why I'm much more short biased today, because it's a big round number and it's a gap fill at the same level. Confluence, yeah, it's previous day's high. It's yesterday's low. It's a big round number. It's a gap fill. There's just so many reasons to come and retest it. Whether or not it holds is obviously down to the market and participants at the point of time we get there. But like it. Nice rejection as well. Look, I mean, this morning's rejection is beautiful. Threes of tops. As soon as we get that move back down to that gap fill, it's really easy short. But it's a really easy short on paper, as long as there's enough sellers on board today to do it. It's CPI day, so we're not expecting massive sector purchases today because the market's not going to want to put a lot of money into the market until the CPI figures come out. So your FX pairs, they will unwind on stuff that's going to be less affected by the US, but the US pairs, the euros, the pounds, I wouldn't expect a massive amount of movement ahead of CPI unless they're not positioned correctly on it. But I would expect today, any rallies we get likely undone and just wait. We shall see. Harold, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but twice now the pre-market 15 didn't initialize and didn't place orders. Do I need to remove the chart and add it back again? Impossible to tell, Harold. Take a screenshot of my settings. What the hell? So the pre-market 15 for me is 9:45 and 10. I don't know what your broker time is, but assuming it's GMT plus 2 or UTC plus 2, 9:45 to 10 is the 15 minutes before the open. Make sure you've got 4 digits in time, because 24-hour clock has 4 digits. Make sure that's set. Make sure you've got minimum opening range set to 1, maximum to 5,000. If you've got a 2-digit broker, set that to 50,000. All in the manual, how to identify. The easiest way to verify it, stick it in the back tester. Yeah, set it up, put it in the back tester, run it on the DAX. Does it trade? If yes, it's fine. If not, something's wrong. If it's not taking live trades, check that you've got auto trading turned on. Yeah. Check auto trading's turned on. Check you got smiley face. It's all just basic checks, really. But other than that, there's no other reason why. If it's not drawing the lines, if it's drawing the lines and not taking the trades, check your logs to make sure that you're allowed to trade the lot size you've asked it to trade. If you're risking a percentage balance, i.e. a monetary amount, it might be that your broker doesn't allow micros and it only allows either minis or full lots. in which case, obviously, that's not going to work unless you set it to trade a fixed lot size. There's countless reasons. I can't answer the question. You need to test it yourself. Read the manual, double check the settings and test. But if you can get it to work in the back tester, it will work live. That's really the only guidance I can sort of give. Morning, Dreska. Hood Good Guy. Morning, do you still have the symmetrical triangle indicator? Yep, that's on the website. There. Works in the back tester, yeah. Okay, I just switched 15-minute open before the opening candle. Before the opening candle closed. No, it won't do. If you're going to change the set, you need to set it up and let it run. Don't change settings. If you go, when the EA initializes, right, it stores information. You need to set this up, let it run before the market opens. So you put it on the chart, you do not touch it. Right? If you muck about with settings as the candles are opening and closing, it ain't going to work. Yeah, it's an EA. You put it on a VPS or you put it on your chart and you leave it. Don't touch it. You don't switch time frames. Every time people don't realize, and there's no reason why they should, but every time you flick time frame here, you are reinitializing that EA settings. Yeah, so that has now completely reset itself. Yeah. If on initialization it restores data, that data is going to be wrong now. Yeah, so you open up your chart, you put it on there, good 10 minutes before the market opens and leave it. You switch accidentally and go, oh, I'm going to look at the 5-minute chart on this pair here. And I do that and go, oh, flick back, it's broke. Yeah, because what this EA does is at the exact time, it needs to store and take information. If that has already happened, it can't do it. It doesn't look back and go, oh, what was it there? Because you've missed it. It's too late. Yeah, so it's got to be running and keep it running. Yeah. I understand. I mean, this is the thing with MT4. People are used to sort of, with TradingView and things like now, people are used to cloud platforms, which obviously this is not a cloud platform. I get the question every now and again in the Telegram group. Do I need to have my laptop turned on for the EA to take a trade? It's like, do I need electricity to turn on the light switch? To me, it's obvious. Of course you do. An EA, piece of computer software, when your computer is turned off, doesn't run. It's obvious to me, but obviously some people that have come from cloud-based land are used to whatever they do on the web being there forever and constantly working, which I totally understand. This is software. It's different. It doesn't work the same. So it's just obvious to me because I've been using the software for 15 years. So, but we've all got to learn somewhere. So ORB is downside break today. There we go. So we're off onto the gap fill. So T1 is yesterday's high. Wherever. We probably find we get some limits trigger down there and we'll get bought up. So make sure that didn't take any other trades. It's good. Do you need a VPS for EAs? Yeah, I would always recommend a VPS, yeah. If you use a VPS, you're never going to have a problem, basically. Because if you set up a VPS, if you get a VPS up and running, hello, there we are. That's it, basically. It's up and running. You never have to think about it. You never have to touch it. You never have to worry about it. So I would always recommend, if you're going to use an EA, any type of EA, always try and use a VPS, because once it's set up, it's set up. It just sits here. Yeah. So I've got every pair set up on here and it's just trading away. Yeah. It's set it up once. Yeah. That's it. Minimize it. Never look at it. I look at it all the time. I never touch it. So yeah, I would always recommend a VPS. Your MT4 freezes all the time. And yeah, I mean, that's the other good thing about VPSs as well, which is useful. A VPS is a brand new Windows installation. It's all like pristine, out the box, hasn't had the sticky film taken off of anything. And all you do is you literally install MT4, You download the EA, you open a chart, you put the EA on. It's as fast as it's ever going to get. That MT4 is as fast as you can get because it's literally just been downloaded, just had one thing put on it. Windows isn't clogged up with any crap. Yeah, so you're always going to get a better performance out of a VPS. And the fact it's always on obviously means you're never going to have downtime on your terminal. Unless you have auto update. The one thing with VPS is you have to remember is auto update has to be turned off. So the company that I recommend, which is Forex VPS Trader, VPS Forex Trader. Got the name of the company. Yeah, VPS Forex Trader. The reason I like them is because all their VPSs are set. It's all on this page if you want to have a look at mine. But all the VPSs basically are optimized for MT4, MT5. So they install them with an MT4 manager. They're all optimized to run MT4, and they're all set up to make sure that it doesn't auto update. Everything you need basically in your Windows setup is set up for you. So you literally just open a browser, go to your broker, download your MT4, log into MQL in your MT4, download your indicators and EAs, off you go. Simples. Very easy. And then obviously what I have is this terminal. So this account here on the terminal is this account that I'm logged into here. So I can see and amend everything on here that I need to. But the EA is just carrying on trading for me on the VPS. There you go. So just quickly want to look at oil. So we looked at oil yesterday and we looked at the bounce. So this candle here is where we were talking about this monthly low, weekly low. And I said, this is where we're going to get some limit order triggers if they're going to trigger, which they did beautifully. We got that huge hammer put in. So the bulls triggered all the limit orders. The bears got out of all their shorts. We had another hour of slight rally and then boom, we collapsed back down straight back into that level, which it then stopped at yesterday. So far today, we've had no movement off of it. So we've got a double bottom. Basically yesterday. Yesterday's low is the double bottom, which is at the monthly, weekly low. And this level we looked at yesterday, didn't we? This is a multiple hit level. So we came down, we bounced out of it, we bounced out of it. We tried a price discovery, which failed. We bounced out of it again. We came down, we tapped it, tapped it, we tapped it, we tapped it, tapped. This level is not interested below. Okay. So as a buy right now, stops under the low, long. I wouldn't position trade it because if you do and that 125 ADR level breaks, I really don't know where oil is going. It's obviously not happy at the moment. Every attempt to rally just seems to get slammed. So it's one of those, we look like we're doing well and then it literally in a day, it undoes the whole lot. So I would be very wary about trying to position trade this, but from a stop loss trade perspective and looking at range bound trades, doesn't get any clearer than that as a range low, does it? So if you want the ultimate range low buy at the moment, there it is. Back up into that high or that high. Yeah. We've obviously got this high here as well. Yep. So there's this zone there, which ranges from somewhere around about $73 to $75 a barrel. Target. So if you look at it from a risk reward perspective, where you are, if you got into it and press the buy button right now, you're looking at 5R to 6R. Very, very simple, straightforward, in out, range bound trade. So your reversal alert on the hourly is going to trigger today up there, which is about 53, so about 5 pips away, quarter of an ADR away. M15, when it updates, you've already had. We've had the 5. Oh, there you go. 5 is about there. So you're going to paint that? Oh, no, sorry, you haven't had the 15 yet. The 15 is there, look. Price is here. So we support rectangle held. So held that level. So that's where your entry is going to be. Oh no, so you have had it. I was going to say that looked like it was broke. So yeah, you just got the reverse alert there. So there's your entry right now, basically on it. So it's a good opportunity, I think. Really nice tight stop on it. I mean, obviously, don't put your stop there if you're going to take it. Give it, quarter of an ADR or so, and give it some breathing room. But yeah, big play. I'm in this long from yesterday. I got into it yesterday when we saw that initial bounce potentially starting. Still in it. I'll hold it. It's a good opportunity for a long, that one. I like. May work, may not. If it collapses down below that, I really don't know. Oil's just dead on its feet at the moment, isn't it? So. Morning, Keith. Right, well, that's all I've got for you today. DAX, obviously, if you took the pre-market ORB, it's a bit whippy at the moment, but tight stops, you're going to struggle today, I think, on this because it is whippy. So, but that's where I'd be looking for it to go. It's not a very easy one to trade this morning because it is very volatile. It's not very, there's not a lot of volume basically, which is why we're getting wide swings. But yeah, looking like a short, obviously at the minute, but tricky one. So we'll watch the New York session. We'll watch the US unfold. Today, I think you've got a potential issue with the New York Open in the fact that all the volume will have gone in at 1:30 today. So the US indices today will go crazy at 1:30 when the CPI figures come out because a load of money will be dumped in or out of the US, which will send the stock market nuts. So by the time we get to New York Open at 2:30, you'll find a lot of the volume may well have already been done, ADRs hit, etc. It may not. I mean, we may not get the results that we're looking for on this, but if we do, the New York Open will possibly be a little bit like it was yesterday, sideways, because if they've done all their movement during that news event, they quite often don't have the money left to do any movement at the open. So we get a whippy open. We've seen this many times off the back of a news event. So just bear that in mind. It's one of those days where we were talking about this yesterday with risk. These are the types of days where it makes sense to drop the risk a little bit because if it is going to be a whipsaw, you can identify it early and get out with less loss. If you go in full risk on it and are expecting a whipsaw and get a whipsaw, then you've only got yourself to blame, haven't you? So we'll see what happens. We need to see what the 1:30 news does, basically, but there's a likelihood we might get some whipsawing at the open. So we'll see where we go with that today, but we'll go where it goes. All right, I'll leave it there. Pitfall morning, Tammy. Morning. I'm just about to go. So I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20. I'm not going to trade through the CPI figures. Just be aware, obviously, they're coming out. So any US dollar pairs you've got, you need to be on the ball. So yeah, I'll be back at 2:20 and we will obviously trade the US session and see what we do there. Brian, tried a mix of settings yesterday, back testing the ORB on FX. I found the first 4 hour with additional 1 hour pre-New York gave a 50-50. First 4 hour with additional 1 hour pre-New York. I would stick with one or the other. I would always kind of treat them as, if you're going to use an opening range breakout strategy, I think you need to treat FX the same way as you do with indices. Yeah. So you've got a New York session and a Frankfurt session. So try a move in the morning. If the one in the morning doesn't work, exit it and then try a move in the afternoon. So take that first 4 hour, play that, close it out 2 o'clock-ish, and then take that 1:30 to 2:30 range and use that for a second attempt if needed. Reason being is, if you look at yesterday's exact prime example, London, New York. Actually, it was New York's there, but quite often we either get one of two things happening, don't you? You get a London move and a New York continuation, or you get a London move and a New York accumulation, or a New York reversal. So it makes sense, after London's done, to start again with New York, because what you don't want is to take a London break and then not take the profit and have a New York reversal, which means you don't get any money. You're better off taking that, and then it doesn't matter which way New York goes, does it? You can make money on New York as well. So treat them as two sessions and have two separate breaks. Those days, obviously, you're still going to win, because you're going to take that, you're going to get out there, you're going to take that, and you're going to get out there. So you're going to profit on the London, then you're going to profit on the New York. So the net result is the same. It's just, if you take a separate New York entry and it does that, you've made money there rather than breaking even all day. Make money, make money. Yeah. I don't know. Try it. But I would run two tests. Run a test with closing everything at 2 o'clock, and then run a test on that 1:30, 2:30, closing everything at 11. And then run a test opening in the morning and running all day, and see what the difference is between the results. And I think you'll probably find you'll get a little bit more out of the one where you're running two sessions, because we never know which way it's going to go in the New York session. You never know which way it's going to go full stop, do you? But yesterday, like I said yesterday, if you hadn't have taken profit at the monthly high, you lost everything yesterday. However, if you'd have bracketed that at the New York Open, you'd have at least made that, and you'd have made on the short. But that's what backtesting's for. It will tell you, won't it? So, yeah, run some tests. It's on my to-do list to run some tests on FX. As I say, I've never looked at it, but I have looked at it, but only briefly. Because there's no open, it's very difficult. You're literally picking a range at random, but there will be ranges that work. So yeah, it's work in progress. It needs some testing and optimizing. But whatever you optimize and whatever period of time you optimize over, pick it up, stick it out of sample. If it works out of sample, brilliant. Take it to another out of sample. Does it work on the second out of sample? Brilliant. If you've got something that works in sample and on 2 out of sample periods, it's robust. Then grab that and stick it on another instrument. If you get the same results, you got an edge. That's all you're looking for, an edge. So we all want an edge. Right, I'll leave it there. Back 2:20 this afternoon. Anything you need, be on Telegram. Otherwise, have a good day. Good luck with US CPI, and we'll pick that apart when I come back. And I will see you guys later. If not, tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time for Frankfurt. Have a good day.